Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Muse Jaster. My name is Junior. I guess we're going to continue doing a double review for the G.I. Joes, only because I have so many of them and I need to get them out of my table for review so I can put them on display and get my review or my table cleaner than it should be. So, we're going to do a review of the G.I. Joe Franklin Airborne Toll Tree and the Cobra Techno Viper from Hasbro. These are both $24.99 figures, and as you can see, they both come with a lot of stuff. Now, I don't know much about Airborne, but I know I want to get them because I like my Joes to be unique, character-driven, personal, has a personality, and all that stuff. The Techno Viper, I wasn't too keen on. The problem with Cobra is that you get one, you need to have more than one, especially when they're in uniform like this. Cobra is just an army builder. So I only have one of this. I can only afford one. If I ever see them on sale, maybe I'll buy four more because maybe five of each unit is what I want to have. So Cobra is a really hard thing to collect because you cannot just stop at one when it's an army builder. But let's look at the packaging. Here is the side. Here's the back. So the back is highlighting the good things or what stands out on these characters. It's got this technical readout that's holographic. There's the number 115, 117, and let's go open them up. But before I do, it's kind of weird. I didn't realize with the big boa, I thought for sure I would go with the portrait, and yet I feel like Big Boa is just much more representative of having that helmet on. Really weird for me in my case. I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. Here's Airborne and the Techno Viper. It's interesting how I was able to pair this up just like I paired up Quick Kick and Big Boa, but these two figures are basically uniform figures, and it's interesting to look at the differences how the Hasbro team, the G.I. Joe Hasbro team, depicted both uniformed subjects, right? So we'll go more into detail as we go along, but I wanted to do a quick turnaround of both figures so you can kind of see them side by side and any differences that might occur. And then we'll just look into some more of the detail. But as you can see, the Techno Viper, the uniform, it's all sculpted into the figure, while Airborne has a secondary jacket that that he's wearing. And again, Hasbro G.I. Joe team, if you can build it into your figure where you can pop off the arms, then that means the vest can be removed going up like that. That will be so much more cooler. It will basically complete the design of the G.I. Joe Cobra team because you've pretty much done everything I could have hoped for in these figures ever since you put out the first G.I. Joe classified figure. You've made so many changes in the design that in my viewpoint, were all progressive and definitely a step towards the right direction. I feel like if you can remove the vest, it just amplifies the choices that we have as collectors, and the enjoyability factor of the character. So for the first time, we're gonna go ahead and start with the Cobra, the Techno Viper, because I want to do a few things. I want to point out a few things with the Techno Viper. So here's the helmet. Here's a close-up of the helmet. As I've said before, with Cobra, I do prefer them to be helmeted, nameless, faceless, because that's what I feel Cobra is. Has a big Cobra symbol on the chest, so that's pretty cool. These coil springs, they're actually molded in or sculpted in, but they are done so well and painted so well that it does feel like as if there are actual coil springs in there. And I also want to point out the new technique they used on these shoulder pads, because let me lift it really close. As you can see, it's a cut over here, so you can think you can remove it, but not really, because I'm not sure if it's gonna show that is actually in there as well. See, so this actually won't pull off, but it gives you, having that cut over there removes what possible limitation that shoulder piece could have had in the movement of that arm. So it's not hampered at all. This is a floating piece on the gauntlet, as you can see. Here's the detail. You can actually see the Cobra imprint on that screen. That's really cool. Like I said, it turns around. And then the screen has a different design. Really nice. The belt on this one is kind of loose, or floating. It's not sculpted into the waist, so that's pretty cool. Here's the baggy pants. This one is loose as well, so really well done. The boots, basic design. We might as well go with the articulation. Goes up and down by that much. Not a lot on the side to side. I've already shown the movement for the shoulder. It does have a bicep cut. It's also got a butterfly. It's actually more articulated than it was with quick kick. So maybe quick kicks and big bows are just too stiff for me. It is double jointed on the shoulder, on the elbow. So be careful. Mine are stiff. Left and right on the wrist. And again, this is a floating device, so it just moves on by itself. Still has that cut over here on the abdomen. Again, not a straight cut on the waist, so that's pretty cool. It gives you a little bit more range in movement. Does have a drop down on the legs, so at least on this side you can move up by that much if you want to. Pretty high. It's got a thigh cut, so you can move it around. Double jointed on the knees. Oh, mine is really stiff. Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of heat it up because I don't want to. Oh, that's really stiff over here. It does have a boot cut, so you move that around, up and down on the ankle, and of course you got the ankle swivel as well. There's the bottom of the boots. You know, the first time I saw the Techno Viper when it was being promoted, I wasn't a big fan of it. Again, because the idea of having another troop builder that I wanted to do, it's kind of staggering. But the more I see it, and in the face, it kind of reminds me of a Cylon slash Decepticon look. And having the purples and the deep purples and all that stuff kind of reminds me of Galvatron, Megatron, you know. So, and of course it's Cobra. Let's go look at the accessories. He comes with a backpack over here. I think we might have seen this before, but I'm not sure from which character. Very minimalistic paint job, but at least there's at least 3 different paints: silver, purple, and black. It's got a communication device over here. It's got these 3 slots over here. That's where you start putting these devices that he's going to use. Some sort of mechanical hammer. So let's put that on. And a wrench over here. and another wrench. He comes with this plastic hose, but the detail on this one, it almost feels like a real hose. It comes with these two futuristic weapons. Here's the handgun, very basic black. And here's a rifle of some sort, very futuristic. They both have these ports for weapon muzzles or weapon flashes. And then finally you have this, some sort of display, projected display. So here's a Techno Viper with all his displays going on. The only thing I might want to add on this coiled spring is it's a little bit too short, especially if you're holding it like at this angle over here. I'm assuming I've got it correctly plugged in where these two hoses or these two connector ports are supposed to be. I suppose if you want it to be a little bit more loose, you can kind of do it like this. It still feels like it's kind of too tight to have, but that really is a really cool thing. I wonder if I have that backwards. Nope, same way. Either way. Yeah, this display thing is really cool. I wonder if they stole that from the Star Wars with the holographic thing, but I just think that's really cool. So that's Big Bull. So that's Techno Viper over there. Let's look at the Airborne over here. All right, so here's the Airborne over here with a little bit of close-up. Nice paint application on the face. He's a little bit shiny, but that's okay. He's a $25 toy. Very nice features on the face. Yeah, if the face had been less shinier, that would amplify the hair and all that stuff and put the face more in the background. That would have been cooler. He's got a grenade on his shoulder strap. The vest is a little bit simple. Definitely, even the quick kick, if we look at quick kick, even though it's just a small sash, look at how much detail is in there, because you even have textures on the red compared to Airborne, where it's almost like it's just plasticky for some reason, but the details are there. I think it's because of the lack of paint. But I can, they're trying to save up on the paint application, but like I think amplifying this with some sort of custom paint application, this thing would just pop much more better. So it's almost like a disservice. Oh, is that a flag over there that's being covered up? Oh, get tempo, the unit decals, and it's very simple. And it's almost like a disservice to the sculpt, but what can you do? $25 range, we get so much. I'm okay with it. And this is something kind of weirdly unique where the vest is tied up all the way to the belt strap on this, and then the belt strap's tied up all the way into the leg strap. So I don't even know how they got this together. How did they put this vest in with this whole thing? They would have needed to pop off the legs and put it in like that. That's the only way I can think of on how they did that. I would even almost suggest that at this point they could have just as easily have cut this here, and then these two would have been a different piece rather than forcing it to be connected with the vest. I can't believe it, but I actually think the Techno Viper is more striking now than the Joe figure. Uh, yeah. They both have about the same amount of paint application. I just, this shoulder thing just really blew me off. And then this hand device just, I don't know, it just puts this more over the top than Airborne. Airborne comes Airborne comes with a helmet. Comes with a pair of goggles. No, what is this for? Some sort of helmet? Because these are his goggles. Pretty sure this goes over the helmet. I'm somebody in the military who flies would probably know more about this than I do. And it comes with a generic pack that we've seen before and we'll probably see again because he is in the military, so it just makes sense that they will be issuing standard military issued gear. Comes with this weapon. Kind of disappointing in the lack of detail in this one. I mean, like, is this even based off of a real gun? That's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to see this on a G.I. Joe figure. At least they already put in the silencer. Or, I guess that might be a silencer. I don't know. That's just the muzzle? That's kind of, it's the design of this one is really weird. And this, I suppose, some sort of scope that he puts on his helmet. A generic knife that's disappointingly generic. Because it's not even painted, and we know they've given us weapons of this size that's painted. If not just the color of the blade as silver or the hilt will be something. It's kind of disappointing that this is not painted. And again, a generic handgun. I don't really know what goes on in how they decide what should be painted or not, but so you can also use this for the handgun. Okay. We'll give him the backpack. Backpack, but not a chute. Right? Because I don't think that's a chute. Helmet like so. Kind of loose. This can go over so. That is just a weird design. So it's not articulated at all. It's just one big piece. But this thing is so shallow. I feel like you're going to lose this easily. So is that a real equipment? I don't know, guys. Or it's just a made up G.I. Joe. So it's got, each eye will have these two camera lenses. And like I said, I feel like the tab is too shallow in that one. But it sort of fits over his eyes, so that's kind of cool. Let's go over his face first. I think I'm gonna display him like that only because by putting the goggles on his face, it tightens up the space on the helmet. Um, I'm gonna leave this off because I feel like I'm gonna lose this easily. Yeah, I don't think this putting this on is correct because he already has a goggles here, so I don't know what this is for. Is there any going to be a situation where he needs to put this on his goggles so he's not blinded? But then he also can't see. So that's it for Airborne and Techno Viper. Surprisingly, I thought I was gonna like the GI Joe more because the face is there. It's got a little. I assumed it would be more personality in that character, and this is just a generic uh, Cobra Trooper. And yet, I find myself liking the Techno Viper more than Airborne. I feel like with Airborne, I was disappointed with the weapons that he has. It's kind of gummy. Seems almost like a generic design. Like I don't know anything about weaponry or guns, but at least with some of the GI Joe guns, I can tell. Oh, that's based off a real weapon. It looks like a real weapon. This one, there's just something about this particular design that doesn't look right. And then it's gummy, and then the knife isn't pointed. Um, and then the helmet is kind of weird in the design because this one's cool, but I think if I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna glue it. I'm gonna glue it so it doesn't fall off or anything. And it's nice to have the option of putting it on the figure or leaving it off. So I can see that. I'm okay with that. It's just um, I don't know. It's just something about. I think this is just an okay figure. No surprising features on it that makes him stand out amongst anything. This one just kind of. Well, the Technofiber just has so much stuff that I've never seen before in a GI Joe. Um, the wrist gauntlets. The fact that the design on the screen on the wrist gauntlet actually has some interesting designs printed on the hologram projection. That's kind of cool. The innovation that they use on the shoulder pads. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I like the Techno Viper more than Airborne, but there it is. Well, that's it for my review. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found it enjoyable and informative. I'll see you again soon on the next review. Thank you and have a good night. Goodbye.